So targeted advertising is this wonderful solution. There's just one problem. They begin to learn an awful lot about you, and that begins to get scary. I just wrote a little paper that I think sort of cute. I call Getting Past the Creepiness Factor. The creepiness of advertisers knowing everything about you. I remember 25 years ago, the first time I called American Express, and they answered the phone, "Hello, Mr. Cole, how are you?" And that was sort of creepy. And I was looking around, where are the cameras? And then when you figure out what it is, it's caller ID. Now you know what caller ID is. It's actually a nice courtesy that they answer the phone saying, "Hello, Mr. Cole." But in the beginning, it was very creepy. What some of you may begin to experience in the next year is, and I saw from some of the previous speakers, most people here have smartphones. You're going to be in the supermarket within the next 18 months. Your phone is going to buzz, and your phone is going to say, not in voice, but on text, it's going to say, "I see you're on aisle 7 of the supermarket. The last time you were on aisle 7, you bought these things. Here's some coupons." Well, that's really scary that somebody knows you're on aisle 7. This is not science fiction. This is happening in Europe. Now, I think once you figure out there's not a person sitting there watching you shop, it's a machine, and then you can opt out of it if you don't like it, and then you realize, wait a minute, those coupons are actually very handy, then I think you're going to like it once you get past the creepiness factor. But some of the creepiness is really interesting. Some of you may be familiar with the most famous example of targeted advertising. It came out of the book, The Power of Habit. About 3 years ago, a 16-year-old girl was buying vitamins and supplies at Target online. And based on what she was buying, folic acid and other things, Target concluded she was pregnant. And they began sending her all these coupons for prenatal care items. Her father, she's 16, she lives at home, her father sees this, he is outraged, goes into the local Target, demands to see the manager, this is all documented, screams at him and tells the manager, "How dare you imply my daughter's pregnant?" He comes back sheepishly 3 days later and says, "There are things going on in my house I'm not aware of. She's due in August." And now Target, this is actually pretty clever, now when they conclude someone's pregnant, they still send them all the same coupons for pregnancy items, but they also send them coupons for lawnmowers, fertilizer. They sort of vague it up so it's not quite so obvious. This is what targeted advertising does. If you let it, and we'll talk about how you can stop it, if you let it, it learns as much about you as you will let it learn. And then it begins to send you coupons and advertisements based on that. How many of you use Amazon fairly regularly? Amazon this is an interesting form. You're going to see this. I just signed up as a beta user. You're going to see this by the end of the year. They now have something some of you may be familiar with it called Amazon Dash. And if you're an Amazon, they give you these little buttons. They're about the size of a quarter with a sticky back. They're completely free. And on the front of the button is a picture of a box of Tide detergent or Bounty paper towels or 100 other products. But if you get the little Amazon Dash button with Tide detergent, they want you to stick it on your washing machine. And what you see is just a little quarter-sized button with a picture of Tide. And when you run out of Tide, you punch the button once. It's connected by Bluetooth to your smartphone, and within 48 hours, a box of detergent appears at your door. This is Amazon wanting to own. You do this, they think you may do this with your toothpaste, your deodorant, your paper towels. I don't know that you're going to have 100 of these buttons, although you could, but they want you to have 10 of them, and of course, they begin to learn everything you use. And this is the double-edged sword of targeted advertising. On the one hand, if you let people know all this information, it becomes extraordinarily convenient to you. You get offers that are useful to you. The downside is somebody knows an awful lot about you. And when you talk about privacy, if you ask most Americans what they're most concerned about with privacy, they will tell you, and it's certainly true here at AARP, it's their medical information and it's their financial information. And people really want to protect their medical records and bank records, as they should. But people will, without a thought, take supermarket affinity cards, those little cards, you know how small they are, that when you check out, and will let the supermarket track everything they buy for discounts. Well, the truth is, you let me know everything you buy in the supermarket. I don't care about your medical records or financial. The supermarket's the holy grail of data. You let me see everything you buy, I quickly figure out who lives in your household, how many people, how old they are, male or female. I quickly figure out how wealthy you are, how healthy you are. I learn everything about the foods you buy, your allergies, and yet we give that information away for a little discount. So we believe that as citizens, we should have choices here. Once again, targeted advertising can be this incredible thing that gives us insights and coupons, or it can be scary. I think there's a 4-step process that you need and I need to guarantee our rights. Step 1 is advertisers, as a sort of a bill of rights. Advertisers have to tell you what information's being collected and why, and what's being done with it. Second, there have to be privacy statements not written by lawyers for lawyers. They can be written by lawyers, but they shouldn't be written for lawyers. Steve Jobs admitted he couldn't read his own privacy statement at Apple. And you know nobody reads those statements, they just click agree. Third step is there should be an opt-out, a way to say, no, I don't want you collecting information, or an opt-in, where they don't collect it unless you tell them it's okay. Although if you don't allow them to collect it, you may not get the coupons and the discounts. And the last step for targeted advertising is you should be compensated if you're giving people all this information. The compensation can be cash, coupons, discounts, inside information, special notice of advanced sales, but you should get something out of it. So that's the world we're just about to move into, where advertisers want to know everything about you. If they do, they save an extraordinary amount of money because they only target their products at the people who are most likely to buy them. If you allow this, you get discounts and advertising that's relevant to you, but you're sharing a lot of your personal information.